Welcome back to Leaderboard Esports. I'm Judy Jetset.
And I'm Jim Basco.
And we're here with Nick Gossett, head and founder of Gold Fruit Gaming, an LGBTQ gaming organization designed to be a safe space for gamers to play all kinds of games. So, we're going to pick it back up. Last time we talked about how the group came about, what the need is for queer safe spaces in gaming, and your emphasis on being a competitive and growth-oriented community. So I'm going to segue into sort of the kind of, not the mundane, but like the mechanical aspects of organizing this group.
Yeah.
So what do you think, how do you enforce this sort of growth mindset? And how do you enforce the kind of safe space? What are some things, maybe obstacles you've run into, or, you know, driving forces mechanically in your day-to-day?
Yeah. That's a really interesting question. It's always a struggle. But, you know, I think it starts with leadership. It really kind of starts with trying to identify people who are constantly in the space. You know, you see them playing, you know they always have a positive attitude. They're always trying to improve themselves. And so their values kind of align with the mission or align with the goal or kind of the vision that we have. And when those sorts of things happen, I, you know, try to invite those people in, and if they're willing to spend their spare time, you know, kind of dedicating to either driving more membership or throwing events or helping out, that's really where it gets started. And it's difficult to kind of maintain that mindset, to always be focused on being positive and trying to, like, again, improve the gameplay. And it really has to do with just kind of being social, and when that's not happening, identifying it. Also respectfully too, which is I think that's really the struggle, is, you know, again, I mentioned before, like, gaming kind of has the tendency to, like, rip away that veil or that person you're trying to be, and it shows your true self. And so, you know, when that's happening, people get heated. And, you know, admittedly, I, you know, shared a little bit earlier that, like, you know, I kind of sort of had that thing going for a while until I learned to sort of grow and kind of appreciate, you know, every speed bump or every, you know, roadblock. So, you know, it has a lot to do with talking. And sometimes it doesn't always seem easy. Sometimes it's not. It's not clear, you know.
Or it's the last thing you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it really is just, it's just about being honest. And I think that, you know, kind of having that sort of fearlessness to discuss those topics and to, you know, to kind of tell someone when they're stepping out of line, and also be okay when it's happening to you too, is really, like, you know, how we try to really bring that together. So it can be challenging. We're always working on it. But yeah, it really just, it's about being social.
That's awesome. How do you think that because of the group, you've had to develop a sort of, not a thicker skin, but, like, do you think that now as a group leader, do you find yourself kind of almost checking yourself even more because you're acting as an example?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a lot of times where, you know, I mean, look, it's like real life. Sometimes you meet someone and it's just not working and you're ready to go at the throat. There's no reason for it. It's just happening. You just don't like someone. But honestly, like, I find that in my life, those people end up being my best friends in the end, and they're, like, the ones that kind of become closest to you. And like, what else is life, right? Other than kind of, like, coming out of that turmoil and, like, learning from each other. So
even the guy that locks in Teemo, Flash Ignite, top lane.
I know a few of those.
Okay.
I know a few of those. But, you know, again, it's about embracing it. It's about being honest with each other, about being respectful. And I find myself a lot of times, really just, you know, trying to, like, let go of things and let it happen.
Cool. What did you do? No, I'm happy that happened. I love that you took it there, but I was actually going to be like, even the top 1% Torbjorn Instalocker, like, do you still have patience for that guy? Do you still want to talk to that guy?
I try to.
I appreciate that.
I try to.
Right.
I appreciate what Nick is doing a lot, because I could not be this man. Like, I clearly.
That's infinite patience. Okay,
Yes.
so I mean, I'm going to take a step back, because we have just identified that you have a font of patience that the average gamer just doesn't have. First off, do you feel like you had to develop that either because of your position in the gaming community or because you've taken on this leadership position?
Honestly, I think it's something that has always just been a personal challenge of mine. I have a point and shoot personality. Something comes up, I've got a solution, and I'm halfway down the road. And it's been something that I've just learned to deal with, you know, to take a deep breath, to think things through. More importantly, to collaborate. Mikey, I mentioned earlier, helps me, help me find the group. He helps me maintain everything and admin, and we have a lot of different members that help with everything. But, you know, circling back, talking to those team members, getting their impressions, helping, you know, me walk through things instead of running to a decision or making a decision on my own.
Yeah.
I think that's really what's brought me there. And again, it's something that I'm always working on. You know, you're never perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can totally relate. As a community organizer as well for NYC Law, I've encountered a lot of the same thing, especially since I love being right. So like I run to conclusions and it shows in my gameplay. I'm the one that will like be overextended and be like, where's my team?
Yes.
But, you know, I think being an admin has definitely like helped me understand that there are perspectives other than my own that might, you know, lend just as much, you know, credibility to the whole solution. So yeah, definitely.
And you know, like honestly, I've got to say, like when, like even just playing Overwatch by myself, right? The best experiences that I've had in Overwatch or in any really competitive game are experiences where I'm involved in a community with people who have the same mindset and who actually want to win. Because even if you do lose, you don't get that moment of being like, just boiling rage. Like you don't have that. You're like, okay, I can at least talk to these guys. I know they're trying. I know they want to get better. We can have some discourse about the game itself, and it's like, wow, this is so great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely. When you can turn someone's like rage or dissatisfaction into a joke, right? And then everyone's laughing again, and then you're queuing up the next game.
Yeah.
Like that's what I live for.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So what's the demographic of your group?
So, you know, as we were talking about earlier, it is an LGBTQ plus space, so everyone's invited. Basically, the way that we recruit is we sort of poach and cannibalize off of other groups. No, but really, what we do is, you know, we're on Reddit, we're on Facebook, we're on the forums, you know, wherever people are apt to post to look for a group. I am often kind of digging through those forums and just posting there. I think that, you know, in the gaming space, you know, there's not a very strong female representation. There's not a very strong trans representation. And I think it's difficult for those people to come out and ask to be a part of something. So, you know, I think that definitely with gay males, they're, you know, I don't want to say more common, but I think they're more vocal, they're more visible. So I think it's easy to get that and bring that in very quickly, and then sort of positive feedback loop, right? Like the community is, you know, what it is because of the people that it attracts, and it attracts people because of what it is, the community of people that are in there. So, you know, I think that definitely has a lot to play in it, but that's not to say that we're restrictive in any way. I mean, we have straight allies in there all the time, friends of friends, co-workers, family even. People bring everyone into the space. So yeah, you know, everyone's welcome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And what's your gaming experience like growing up, and how does it relate to the group you have now?
That's really interesting. So when I was really young, I actually started in sports, and soccer was my sport of choice.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like kind of a sad story, I suppose, or at least not the greatest ending. I remember I was really good at defense only, and I remember hanging out with all the kids on the soccer team, and they would roll their shirts up. I don't know if you've ever seen them, like it kind of looks like a bra. And instead of the gray team, we were the gay team. And I went home, and that actually like really kind of scarred me for a while. And after like sort of like, you know, all the teasing, even though they didn't know, I kind of was like, Mom, I'm done with soccer. Right? And like that kind of sucks because it didn't need to be that way.
Right.
Yeah.
But that competitive spirit, that teamwork, that want to be social still existed. And, you know, I found it in gaming. And, you know, from there, you know,
The
it's
rest
just
is
move
history.
forward. Yeah, the rest is history,
Okay.
really. So.
Okay. And what are the games primarily that you see like the most presence in your
Ooh,
group?
yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy. We got like a lot of Overwatch players, of course. A lot of League players. Hearthstone, my personal favorite.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're seeing it as a top game on Twitch, we're definitely playing it.
Okay.
Our group has a huge game ADD, so flavor of the week, whatever's popular, anything that's new, anything that's an alpha, we're usually hopping on that boat.
That's
so,
awesome.
you know, World of Warcraft will come around, we'll raid, we'll do the PvE thing every now and then, but you know, for the most part, we've got that sort of, you know,
That's
those
awesome.
first few games that I was talking about.
Yeah, and like the fact that the community is built outside of a particular game means that you guys can travel as a group to multiple games, and there's already a community built in there.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we actually really like to spend a lot of our time and energy doing is actually traveling, because it's really like the opportunity that we get to meet up with each other. And so that's, I mean, we'll travel to gaming conventions, we'll go to PAX East, we've been to Smite World Championships.
Nice.
LCS, and, you know, anywhere we can meet each other and have an excuse to go spend money on drinking and watching a game.
That's awesome.
We're going to take it.
That's so cool. Okay, so running it back, so we've heard about all of the different antics your group is up to. You guys play together, you guys hang out together in person, online and offline. So what would you say is the defining factor that makes your group different from other LGBTQ spaces out there?
Interesting. So I think that what makes Goldfruit unique is really our prioritization on queuing up for a specific game and improving the gameplay. Really, I've seen a lot of different spaces, and they're beautiful, wonderful spaces, and you know, they emphasize being social, or they emphasize art, or you know, maybe they're writing, or they're, you know, putting some sort of their craft into the gaming space, and kind of combining their passions. Goldfruit, to me, at the very core, is I want to find someone to queue up with, right? I want to learn this game, or I'm at this level, I want to take it to the next level, or I'm just looking to hang out with a bunch of people to play. If you're not ready to get in a voice chat and queue up with someone, this is probably not the space for you. And so you'll see, we don't have a selfies channel, we don't have a gem channel, we don't care about what skins you really love. Actually, yeah, Skinergy is really important to us. We know that really is what wins games. So. But yeah, so I think it's just at the core. If you're not ready to join up, then there might be a better space and a more targeted space at that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, with that being said, guys, we are going to take a short break. Nick Gossett, thank you for talking about the intrinsics of running such a outstanding group, and we will be back next episode talking about esports and Goldfruit Gaming. Yeah, with that being said, guys, that is it for Leaderboard Esports this time around. My name is Jim Basco.
And I'm Judy Judset.
Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon to become part of our notification squad today to find out when we upload, usually 3 times a week. So if you love content about Overwatch, League of Legends, esports, communities, literally anything esports related, you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled. We will see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.